Welcome to this explainer. Okay, I want you to imagine for just a second holding a single meticulously cut key right in the palm of your hand. Now imagine walking up to any door in literally any house on any continent on Earth and finding that this exact same key effortlessly unlocks every single one of them. Sounds totally impossible, right? No way that happens in real life. But that is exactly the reality of our cosmos. It's crazy. A single equation, a single set of rules governs the entire universe. It's this profound, mind-bending universal mystery, and today we are going right back to the foundational blueprints of reality to decode it.
Section 1. A Universal Rulebook.
Okay, let's dive into this. Think of our journey today like a giant cosmic detective story, right? We're actively looking for patterns, searching for those invisible, unbreakable rules that completely dictate how the cosmos behaves. So take a laboratory right here on Earth. If you ran a physics experiment, and then somehow you magically transported that exact same laboratory 2 billion light years across the freezing void of space all the way to the Andromeda Galaxy, the fundamental physics, well, they wouldn't change at all. One equation works the exact same way here as it does all the way out there. I mean, just let the sheer scale of that sink in for a second. 2 billion light years. That is an absolutely unfathomable distance. It's filled with chaos, exploding stars, freezing vacuums, the whole shebang. And yet the mathematical equations remain completely unbothered. They work with this totally impossible consistency no matter where you happen to be in the vastness of space.
Section 2. The Frameworks of Reality. Now, to really grasp the scale of this mystery, we can't just talk in vague abstractions. We actually need to look at the specific foundational pillars of physics that act as our primary evidence, the stuff we've uncovered over the centuries. This whole timeline is essentially humanity's relentless march toward figuring out the unified theories of reality. So, think back to 1687. Sir Isaac Newton writes down his law of gravity. And guess what? Newton's law didn't have to check its GPS coordinates before it worked. Gravity is just universally applied. Then jump to 1865. James Clerk Maxwell manages to unify light, magnets, and electricity into just 4 elegant equations that literally define electromagnetism everywhere. Fast forward to 1915, and Albert Einstein completely rewrites our entire understanding of space and time with his theory of relativity. And then by the 1970s, the standard model of particle physics is finalized. Every single time we manage to peel back a layer of reality, we don't find this chaotic mess. We find strict, unyielding, incredibly beautiful frameworks.
Let's move to the next piece of the puzzle and see how this builds our understanding across vastly different scales. I want you to consider an electron. It's this unimaginably tiny speck of matter deep in the quantum realm. Now, contrast that tiny speck with a black hole, an absolute cosmic monster, something so massive and so dense that it swallows entire star systems whole and literally won't even let light escape. I mean, they could not be more different in scale, right? Yet, the math of relativity doesn't just panic and break down when it encounters a black hole, and the principles of quantum mechanics don't just shrug at an electron. It is one master framework that turns both of these incredibly different locks flawlessly.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer economy of the universe, and that's perfectly represented by the number 17. The standard model of physics, that crowning achievement of modern science we just talked about, it requires merely 17 fundamental particles to describe absolutely all matter everywhere. We're talking about quarks, leptons, and bosons coming together in this perfect, intricate choreography. Just think about it. Everything you have ever seen, your morning coffee cup, the mountains outside, the moon, the swirling gas clouds of the Orion Nebula, even the farthest galaxy ever caught on a space telescope, all of the breathtaking complexity of the entire universe is built from this shockingly small box of cosmic Legos. Just 17 fundamental particles make up everything, literally everywhere.
And honestly, the wonder just continues to escalate here, because those 17 building blocks of reality, they don't just float around randomly doing whatever they want. Their behavior is dictated by just 4 fundamental forces. You've got gravity, electromagnetism, the strong nuclear force, and the weak nuclear force. And that's it. Just 4 forces manage the interactions of absolutely all matter in existence. It perfectly proves just how elegantly simple the foundational building blocks of reality truly are. You don't need a million localized specific rules for a million different galaxies. You just need 17 particles and 4 forces, applied everywhere, completely flawlessly.
Section 3. The Ultimate Cosmic Question.
So, we've looked at the incredible universal consistency of these forces. But as curious learners, we can't just passively nod our heads at the data, right? We have to actually interrogate this reality. We really have to ask the unavoidable question here. Where do these laws come from, and who wrote them? Take a second and really feel the weight of that. Seriously, why does Andromeda, 2 billion light-years away, care about the exact same 4 forces and 17 particles that we do here on Earth? Without a physical connection, without any possible way to communicate across the freezing void, the universe is just mysteriously, perfectly synchronized. So who exactly dictated the terms of this universal rulebook?
Section 4. Signature of a single author.
We've brought all these clues together, and so the crucial point is this: one pen, one mind, the same laws everywhere. Think about it like this. When you find a beautifully written story, where the tone, the grammar, and the narrative voice are just flawlessly consistent from the very first page all the way to the very last, you don't assume 1,000 different people wrote it by accident, right? Of course not. You instantly recognize the specific style of a single writer. In the vast, sprawling narrative of the cosmos, this total uniformity, the same laws working everywhere, is absolutely the clearest signature that unity can leave behind. It is the hallmark of one mind.
And this brilliantly illustrates our final undeniable takeaway. A universe with one consistent rulebook just isn't some chaotic accident waiting to happen. It's a highly ordered, perfectly tuned masterpiece. When we study things like the Standard Model or Einstein's relativity, we aren't just looking at cold, hard math on a chalkboard. We're reading the handwriting of a single author, discovering a deep unity that binds us to the farthest, most unseen reaches of space. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder the next time you look up at the night sky. If the universe is this perfectly authored, what incredible mysteries are still hidden in the chapters we haven't even read yet?